What's going on YouTube? ShadowFox4562 here, coming at you with another video. Today we're going to be doing a deck profile on a brand new deck that I came up with myself. This is a totally original deck idea that I've been testing for a while, and so far the results are very, very good. And this is all against meta. There's no rogue decks involved. I am currently 17-2 in real life, I believe, and I'm like 80-something and 7 on DevPro. Also, the first two announcements I'd like to make is there were actually 2 pack winners from my previous videos, since I did them so close together. One is X Mapleson, and the other is Alex Ludecking. So if you would like to email me or message me then to claim your free pack, then please do so. Alright, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this deck. So this deck, I like to call it Seraph Synchro, and a lot of people will recognize this because it has a lot of elements that the Synchro-centric or Plant Synchro or Chaos Plant deck had back in the day when Tengu was at 3 and Trish was legal. And I really love Synchro decks because there's so many options you can have with them. So I decided, hey, let's build a plant deck. Well, it was too slow. So I figured if I put Star Seraphs in and a couple other cards in to make it faster, it would work. And it is incredibly fast, and it beats almost everything. So let's get into the deck. So for the monsters, we have 3-star Seraph Scepter and 3-star Seraph Sovereignty. This is really one of the core engines of the deck. You can always just do the Scepter Sovereignty play, and it'll get you an automatic +3 just off a drawing. Plus, you'll get a synchro or exceed out. Really good, but also the good thing about it is if you have a Sovereignty and you have another Sovereignty, but you don't have a Scepter, you can summon the Sovereignty in attack mode, special the Sovereignty in defense mode, draw 1, and then since you can't exceed, you can synchro into a monster with your tuners. So those are good. 3 Reborn Tengu. This card is amazing in itself. It opens up so many plays for the deck, and the fact that this is a 3, it's just so abusable in this deck. Now for the plant engine, we run triple Lone Fire, of course. 1 Spore, 1 Dandy, and 1 Glow Bulb, and 1 Debris Dragon. And then the other cards we run are 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, and 1 Summoner Monk. I just did a video like 2 or 3 weeks ago about Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit and how it's really, really good. Let me tell you just how good this card is. Alright, so when I'm playing against Satellar Knight is probably my worst matchup, right? So they can summon an Altair, and I'll just ditch Ghost Ogre right off the bat, and they'll lose their Altair. They can't attack for the rest of the turn. They still get their Deneb back, but the fact that they can't exceed into something is great. Like, it is fantastic. Then I run, for spells, triple Upstart, triple Emergency Teleport. Trying to reduce the glare there. 1 for 1, 1 Foolish, 1 Regeki, and 1 Soul Charge. Alright, so let me explain about the E-Tellies. The E-Tellies, obviously for the Uki Usagi, why do I run 3 instead of 2? Well, if it's ever dead, I can summon Summoner Monk, I can pitch off the E-Telly, and I can special summon a Scepter, and then I can add a Sovereignty to hand, and that kind of gets off some plays. I can also pitch it off to get a Tengu, or really whatever I need. So that's why I run 3 E-Telly. And just so I can get to it faster, so I can synchro into 7s. Then for trap cards, we run triple Reckless, double Phoenix Chain, double Call, 1 Powerful Rebirth. This card is actually really good in this deck. I didn't think it would be at first. It was just kind of a testing thing. But I found out really quickly that I can reborn a Scepter, or I can reborn a Tengu or something like that, and then special summon a Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit and go into an 8. Card's really good. Not to mention it acts as another monster reborn for your Lone Fire. 1 Bottomless, 1 Compulse, 1 Torrential Tribute, and 1 Jar of Avarice. Now, Jar of Avarice is an interesting choice for me. It's never dead in this deck. It's never dead. The times that it is most useful is you can summon a Tengu and just go through all your Tengus and your Ghost Ogres, and you can just recycle them all back in your deck with Jar of Avarice. Really, really good. Really, really powerful card. Now for the extra deck. So I run one Lavalva Chain. This is kind of standard in any plant deck. The reason it's also very good, I can obviously ditch plant cards with it, but not only that, I can also stack a Star Seraph Scepter. So say I have a Scepter, say I open up with a Scepter. Or say I open up with a Summoner Monk. I can summon Summoner Monk, pitch a spell, get a Scepter, grab a Sovereignty, overlay into Lavalva Chain, activate Chain's effect, putting another Scepter on top, so next turn I can go for a big Exceed play. One Ouroboros, because it's just really good going into turn 1 and getting rid of some of your opponent's card advantage. One Deltharos, because again, it's very good. One Diamond for those pesky dark deck matchups like Shadal's. That's all the Exceeds I run. So for Synchros, I run one Formula, one Librarian, one Armades, one Goyo, one Clearwing Synchro Dragon, one Black Rose Dragon, one Scrap Dragon, one Stardust Dragon, one Stardust Spark Dragon, one Crimson Blader, and one Quasar. A lot of people ask me how often I get this out. I actually get it off very, very often. If I open up with a Lone Fire and a Soul Charge, or a Lone Fire and a Call or Powerful Rebirth, I automatically get Quasar out. And the format, in general, just really can't deal with that right now unless you open up a specific hand. And then for the the side deck, I run two Flying Sea. I really don't like Burning Abyss, and I don't like Satellar Knight. Satellar Knight, again, is my worst matchup. So Flying Sea is a very good card against them. Double MST, because lose one turn hinders this deck so much. I need it. I need MST. Two Light Imprisoning Mirror to slow down Satellars. Two Decree for any deck. Like, the thing about this deck is only scared of back row. Like, this deck, if you set 5, this deck has a very hard time pushing through. It can, but it has a very hard time pushing through back row. So Royal Decree just stops all that. Two Imperial Iron Wall. Two Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. One Soul Drain. And two Anti-Spell Fragrance. Alright, now let me explain real quick about Royal Decree a little bit more, because a lot of people are thinking, well, you play a bunch of trap cards in your side deck, and you also play a ton of trap cards in your main deck, so how is Royal Decree really beneficial to you? Alright, so Royal Decree, it stops my opponent from playing traps, obviously, and then I can always turn it off during my turn. If I have a Scepter, I can just go into a Deltharos. So I'm going to +2 off the draw. Then I go into Deltharos, pop my Decree, draw 1, and then Deltharos can pop one of their cards. So really, I can turn off Decree anytime I want. It really doesn't affect me that much. Or I can just go off. Either way. So, I mean, this deck is very, very powerful. A lot of people underestimate how good Synchros are, and the best thing about this deck is no one's really prepared for it. Like, if you look at people's sideboards, there's not too much people would be able to side against you. The Vanities, the lose one turns. Mistake doesn't really hurt because you only have the Seraph Engine. But aside from that, I mean, and I would go into a lot of plays with you, like just on, like combos and stuff with the deck, but the plants, like, in and of themselves, I could spend an hour going over how many combos the plants can do. There's a video by, I forget who it is, there's someone in ARG, and they go over, like, all the Quasar combos and just random combos and stuff, and it takes them about an hour to name off every single thing you can do with these 6 cards. One of my favorite plays in the deck, though, to be completely honest with you, is I just summon a Tengu, and then I either pass turn or I open up with like a Foolish, or I open up with something that can get me out of Lone Fire real quick, and I'll just summon Lone Fire, and then ditch them all off to the grave, and then summon a Spore or Glow Up Bulb, doesn't really matter, and I just go into Synchros over and over and over, draw with TG Hyper Librarian, and then I'm allowed to either go into Quasar, or I'm allowed to Jar of Avarice them all back and just do it all over again. This deck is very explosive. It's one of the most, I think, honestly, it's the most explosive deck in the format. And I guess it's really not in the format because it's kind of my brainchild. But I love this deck, and if I go to Nationals, I will be playing this. No one will be prepared for it, and it's just a great deck. So tell me what you thought about it, guys, and let me know in the comments down below what you would change, or if you have any questions. Remember, if you comment, you will be automatically entered to win a free pack in the next video. You have to comment on the YouTube link because it makes things easier. And I will talk to you later, guys. All right, peace.